In 1991, the University of Michigan basketball program recruited one of the greatest freshman classes of all time, and they instantly became a hit. Jalen Rose, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, Chris Webber, and Juwan Howard comprised the Fab Five, who dominated college basketball. Not only did they dominate on the court, but they took over pop culture with their style on court. The black shoes, the black socks, the loud play style that they used, it captured fans. As a result, the University of Michigan was easily able to profit off of their names. The university sold jerseys with the players' names on them, other clothing such as t-shirts that included the name Fab Five as well as the players' names and faces even, and other items that used their namesake. However, none of the members of the Fab Five were compensated for the money made from their names, posing the question, should college athletes be able to make a profit off of their name? College athletes do need to be paid by universities they attend for the profit made using their names. There are several reasons for this. For one, it is unfair to the athletes that their names are being used for profit by the universities, yet they are getting none of that money. Additionally, the NCAA does not allow student athletes to hold jobs during their respective season, which can prevent them from saving money to pay various payments, such as tuition and room and board, because there are many athletes that do not get scholarships and walk on at universities and make the team, and they are still paying the high cost of tuition. The NCAA is even strict on athletes making money in ways that are not considered jobs. For example, in 2017, University of Central Florida kicker Donald De La Hayes lost his NCAA eligibility due to him profiting from ads on his YouTube channel. As a result, the NCAA forced De La Hayes to leave his YouTube channel or he would lose his eligibility, and he decided that his eligibility was not important and he would rather keep creating content on YouTube for his followers and make money off of that. Since then, he has come to over 2 million subscribers on YouTube. How can this issue be solved? First, all players on college sports teams should be compensated some amount for the ticket sales for their games. Why should they not? Fans come to the games to watch the players, so a small fixed amount or percentage of the ticket sales should go to the players. So to back this up and make it reasonable, I did some math, and here's what I came across. University of Michigan football tickets have an average cost of $141. The Big House seats 107,601 fans. So the average ticket sales for a Michigan football game comes out to $15,171,741. With an insane amount like that, there is no reason players should not be getting some of that money. So, Michigan rosters 141 players, and while many of those players do not play, they're still part of the team and they're still practicing with the team and putting their bodies on the line, as football, as many are aware of, is a very dangerous sport in many ways. So if each player were to make a mere 0.002% or 1,000th or 2,000th of a percent of the average ticket sales per game, they would all earn about $300 per game, meaning the university only loses $42,000, which may seem large, but when you take into account that they make over $15 million per game, that is only about 2.7% of its ticket sales profits. So, in addition to ticket sales, players deserve a compensation for sales of merchandise that explicitly use their name or image. So similar to what was happening with the Fab Five, universities are still using its top players' names and images to make a profit in team stores, usually that are in the stadiums and around campus. So as previously mentioned, these items can include clothing, accessories, and memorabilia. So these stores that the universities have in their stadiums and on campuses make large profits, mostly off of these goods that, or not mostly, but they make a large profit off of goods that use a player's namesake and image. So by allowing these star players to receive compensation from the sale of these goods, it would not harm the university. It would benefit players financially, allowing them to continue to pay tuition and room and board, and even make small purchases such as meals and clothing for themselves. Finally, while it does not involve universities personally compensating its student athletes, the NCAA should allow players to hold jobs during the season so that they can at least make money for themselves. The NCAA has a rule where a player cannot work a regular job during the season, and even at that point, like I previously stated with Donald De La Hayes from the University of Central Florida, players are not able to make profits in other ways such as other ways besides jobs. So YouTube and even selling items online, players are prohibited from doing that. So by the NCAA allowing players to at least make themselves some money in some way, whether it's a job or other activities, these players wouldn't have as much of a concern as how to get themselves some money. But the concern with allowing players to hold jobs would be missing practices and games. But if the universities were to supply players with jobs on campus, that would resolve the possible issue of missing games and practices. So very recently, and this is a step in progress, California passed a law that bans schools from preventing student athletes from hiring agents and accepting advertising deals. So what this means is universities in California, or I should say what the law is proposing, is that these schools are not allowed to prevent their student athletes from hiring agents, which later on will help them in when they go professional, if they go professional. And they can now sign advertising deals, which was prohibited as it was seen as a way of these players making a profit during seasons. So while it is obviously not allowing the student athletes to be paid by the universities or hold jobs, it is definitely a step in the right direction. So it really comes down to what can everyone else do who agrees with the situation that these student athletes should be able to at least make money in some sort, but mostly be paid by the universities. One way that we can get this to be done is to pressure the NCAA to finally allow its athletes to be compensated. So that includes us, the athletes, university sponsors, and boosters. And I feel that the boosters are a large part because many of these universities thrive off of money they get from alumni and just other boosters that supply them with money each year. And if boosters were able to get on board with college athletes being paid, the universities and ultimately the NCAA would be pressured into compensating its athletes. And the final set of people that must get in with compensating athletes, or the idea of it is college sports fans, as they supply the NCAA and all these sporting events with the money, as they are the ones who attend. So if they can rally and support these athletes to be paid, change can be made. So in conclusion, if we can get all these people to support college athletes being paid, whether that is holding a job or being compensated by ticket sales and memorabilia, clothing, and accessory sales, using their names, of course, the NCAA could be forced to change its ruling.